Hello everyone, it's your boy Kenma. This is going to be the first video in my new series that I'm doing. I'm going to be doing one for every hero because I've been playing too much Hero League where people just do not know how to talent correctly, and it is super annoying. And I really want the public in the community, like on Reddit and stuff, and just whoever, if anyone wants to just pick up the game, to be able just to like click on a link and be able to be like, okay, this is how like the pros talent this hero, and I need to look at that. You know what I'm saying? So we'll do this is going to be the first video, and I'm going to try to do every hero eventually. Besides, probably like I'm not going to fuck with like Murky or any of those heroes that I don't know how to play, but most of the heroes I'm going to get done. So let's get started on Tyrande. All right, so level 1, right? First off, Celestial Attunement and Seasoned Marksman, you will never get those two skills ever. So don't even think about getting either of them. You don't have mana problems on her, and you're not an auto attacker, so never get these. Ranger's Mark is an amazing skill. It makes your 20-second your mark, which is your passive, is a 25% damage amplifier, and this makes it have a 12-second cooldown instead of a 20-second cooldown. So this is really strong. I end up getting this, I think, like, I'm getting this probably, like, 95% of the time now. It's just so strong that it helps you burst people down, like, when the fight starts, like, as the fight keeps on going, it'll help you burst people down, just having your mark up, because, like, that's what Tyrande brings to the game. She doesn't have a lot of damage by herself, but having that stun and the damage amplification is what makes her really strong. So you're going to want to look to get Ranger's Mark almost every game. Pierce... Close the door, I'm busy. Pierce is another option. If you're versing a team that has like really like they don't have much healing, like say that it's like a Solar Uther maybe, or something like say they have something like say Solar Uther, or just one healer in general.
Spider sense
like
is tingling.
going like an owl build might be viable, or if you're running with maybe with an Asmodon or something that has a lot of poke and they only have one healer, then doing Pierce and then getting the 16 talent is an option, but it's going to be very, very very game dependent, like game to game, and don't ever do this unless the other team has like one healer only and they have very little heals and really squishy people. That's the only time you'd ever get that, and then you'd pair this up with the Ranger, because that's the only reason. That's the only skill that makes your owl even hit any people. All right, level 4. Okay, so. Overflowing Light, you are never going to get this talent. Never get that. Empower, you are never going to get this talent. Searing Arrows, you are never going to get this talent. People think that... I see a lot of people, they'll get they'll get Searing Arrows because they have 3 supports. Like they'll have Tyrande, Tassadar, and Rhaegar or Uther, and they'll have triple support, and they'll be like, oh, we need some extra damage. Let me get Searing Arrows. No. Get Protective Shield or Healing Ward. Do you really think getting Searing Arrows on Tyrande is going to help you, maybe kill someone? No. Get one of these two. Okay, let me give you, for examples, when you would get a certain talent. Healing Ward and Protective Shield, right? If you played any support, these are the 2 basic skills that you get, right? Healing Ward, you're going to get most of the time on Tyrande. Honestly, Healing Ward is super OP right now. Heals 3% of your max health. So that's 50% of your max health per second for 10 seconds of your whole team. It's ridiculous. Healing Ward needs to get taken out of the game. It's so OP. So, this is what you're going to be wanting to take all the time. Now, say that you have maybe a Tassadar and a Rhaegar on your team, and you already have 2 healing wards, 3 healing wards that might be cutting it, and you might need to, say you have an Illidan, then that's when you would probably take Protective Shield, because your team has, having more burst healing will be so more effective than having a 3rd healing ward. But most of the time, I would take 2 healing wards. If your comp can allow it, I'd always take 2 healing wards, because this heals so much more than just 1 shield. But honestly, from what I've seen, I've played Tyrande nonstop for about 2 weeks now, and the only time I've ever taken Protective Shield was when I had when I had an Illidan on my team and I had a Rhaegar and we already had healing ward. Then maybe I'd take Protective Shield if he needed it. That's the only time. But I take healing ward at least 9 out of 10 games, I'd say. So. These are the only 2 skills you're going to want to take at level 4. Protective Shield and Healing Ward. Alright, on to 7. Alright, so this This one's a little trickier because she has a lot of options in this talent. This is the one with the most options, all right? So, Quickening Blessing. Let's talk about Shroud first, because like I think this is the most, like, out of all the talents in this level 7, this is the most useless one. It cloaks a ally for 5 seconds, right? Like, this is kind of meh. Like, who's going to do like an invis like gank? You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be useful in certain situations maybe, but like honestly, it's pretty useless compared to the rest of the skills in here. All right, so 25% movement speed. This is probably the second like most useless one in this. I'm not saying it's not good, because it is definitely good in certain situations. Whether you have like, maybe you have like an Uther, or you know, just you need to speed people up on your team to keep them away from like an Illidan or something. It could be really useful, but I still tend to not really get it very often, honestly. Like, this would probably be, I get Quickening Blessing maybe like 1 out of 20 games, maybe, like, just off the top of my head. And then, okay, so let's talk about the other 3. Well, let's talk about Battle Momentum. Battle Momentum was the go-to standard when she had Rewind, because everyone did the Owl build. And I still think it's quite good, because, I mean, Battle Momentum is pretty it's just a OP talent in general in the game. But honestly, right now, the way that the game's playing, I don't think that she needs it, because she wants to do as much damage in that little time frame when you stun someone and put mark on them. So I think the Battle Momentum isn't as good as True Shot Aura. Unless, like, say that your team doesn't have anyone that will benefit from this. Like, say you have, I don't know, for example, Nazeebo Jaina, right? Like, they're not going to benefit from this. So you wouldn't take True Shot Aura just for yourself, you know? So, like, that's a game that I would think about taking Quickening Blessing or Battle Momentum, because it would be useless. Like, you're going to want to take True Shot Aura when you have, like, stuff like Vala, Hammer, Tassadar, Illidan. Like, stuff like that's what you're going to want to take True Shot Aura for. And then Mule. So Mule, I can't even count the time. Even Nerf Mule is still OP as fuck. Like, I can't even count the number of times that I've straight up won games in Hero League because Mule wins the fucking game, right? Like, okay, these are maps that you're going to want to look to use Mule, right? Blackheart Bay, Haunted Mines, and Sky Temple. Like, all 3 of those maps, take Mule no matter what, unless you have someone else on your team that can take Mule. Like, the thing about Tyrande too is there's a lot of other heroes in this game besides maybe Nazeebo. I would say can take Mule. If you have a Nazeebo on your team, have him take Mule instead of you. But besides, like, all the other heroes, it's better for you to take Mule than them, because they have really strong level 7s. Like, for example, Tassadar has the Static Charge, Brightwing has the Pulse Heal, and then Malfurion has a lot of cool stuff at 7. So you're going to be wanting to take Mule on those 3 maps that I said. And then on other maps as well, it's actually quite situational when, like, for example, if I'm playing on, let's say, Cursed Hollow, like, you'd think that Mule wouldn't be as good on Cursed Hollow, but, like, saving like, towers or forts from, like, early bosses and stuff can win you the game later in the game, because later in the game, when those bosses are, like, say that your boss needs to kill their base, their keep, and their boss needs to kill your fort in your keep because you muled it earlier, you know? You're gonna have level advantages because of the mule, and you're gonna have map advantages with your positioning. So, like, it's just something you need to take into consideration with what the map's going on. And it, like, there's been certain times where, like, well, True Shot Aura would be really good the game, but I'll still take Mule just because it's going to get my team to 10 first, and I know that it'll be more important during that specific game. So just think about stuff like that. But TLDR on level 7, I'd take True Shot Aura or Mule. Like, these are the go-to for me personally. Quickening, Blessing, and Battle Momentum are situational, but they work as well. Alright, level 10. Alright, Shadowstock, it was nerfed, you know, like, the cooldown is so long on it compared to what it used to be, and all it does is it's pretty much a map hack that makes your team invisible, right? Starfall is amazing. It's like a huge circle slow, 20% slow, and it does okay damage. So, like, I really don't see where you would take Shadowstock over Starfall, like, right now in the current meta. It's just, maybe if their team has, like, 3 invis, I don't know. But Starfall is just so good right now that I would definitely take this. Like, whether it be to, you know, to zone, keep people in place, it's really good. So I would go for Starfall almost every game. 13. Okay. Alright, so Hunter's Mark can be cast on structures. This is actually like really if this was on like a different level besides 13, because there's such good stuff on 13, I think this would actually be really useful. But just because it's on 13, I don't think you'll ever get Purging Mark, you know. So maybe you could experiment with it on like Haunted Mines or something, I don't know, but most of the time you're not going to be getting Purging Mark. Shrink Ray, I would never get Shrink Ray on Tyrande because there's no reason to. You need to. I'll explain later why. All right, so Lunar Blaze, Lunar Blaze is the go-to for me. It's the go-to most of the time. Like I'd say, like this is what makes your stun. Not only does it make it easier to hit for one person, but it makes it easier to hit multiple people, which is really nice. And it's just so like the range is ridiculous. Like if they have a Nazebo, she can't like a Nazebo cannot ult you. I mean, she can't ult your team because if you have this off cooldown, there's just no way because you'll stun her anywhere in the map. So Lunar Blaze is really strong. Now Sprint, like there's lots of heroes that have Sprint, right? So you know what Sprint does. Sprint is just it's so good for if you're versing a team where you need to not get blown up, or you need to get in and out, or you need to just get out quickly, or you need to kite somebody. This is when I think taking Sprint is actually really good. So Sprint, I've been taking it a lot against Illidan comps lately, and Illidan hasn't been able to train me down, and it's been really helpful. So, like, just think about stuff like that. Maybe against like an Uther comp, where the Uther's gonna like sprint on you and kill you. You could just sprint away from him. There's a lot of stuff there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with Sprint. So just look at the comps that you're versing, and if you think Sprint will keep you alive or help you make more plays, I would definitely think about taking Sprint. Lunar Blaze, though, is going to be like the standard go-to. I would say you can't really go wrong with it, but Sprint is definitely good in certain situations. So like I'd say right now I probably take Lunar Blaze like at least like 4 out of 5 games I take Lunar Blaze, just because Sprint is so situational. But Sprint is very good when it's good, so just think about that. Alright, level 16. These two skills are trash. Don't even look at them. Shooting Star. This skill's actually pretty amazing late game because what it does is it gives you 50% extra damage on your stun, your stun already has a lot of damage, so it gives you 50% extra damage, and then you put your mark on it and does 25% extra damage. It's like a ton of damage, right? And then you get Rewind, and then that's like it's pretty much like you're shooting 3 stuns with 2 stuns damage-wise, right? So it's really good, and it helps your mana conservation late game. So Shooting Star is really good. I've been tending to get this like almost every game now. Like it's so strong for the burst and the mana conservation. It's just really strong. Now Sentinel, this is actually it's decent, but unless you're going Pierce, I really don't see the reason of getting Ranger, right? If their team, if their team is really squishy and does not have, if their team's really squishy, like I was saying earlier, and they don't have they have one healer maybe, then yeah, Ranger might be good because like, or if you're running like with an Asmodee comp and it's just poking them to death and you just need a little bit of extra poke, then Ranger might be thinking about. But Shooting Star is what you're gonna want to go almost all the time. So Ranger is just very situational. If you can poke them to death, Ranger might be good, but Shooting Star is what you're gonna want most of the time. All right, level 20. Now, level 20, she has so much different shit you can do at level 20, right? Let's talk about it really quick. Celestial Wrath. You will never get this talent unless you're just trolling, right? You will never get this talent. It's not a good talent, so ignore that. Hunter's Prey. Considering the fact that I said you never go Shadow Stock, really, you will never be getting Hunter's Prey. Hunter's Prey is actually really good, but you're not getting the level 10, so don't worry about Hunter's Prey. Storm Shield. This is very situational, and like the only time that I've ever taken Storm Shield on Tyrande is like literally when I'm ending the game and I just want to have a little bit more shielding on my team to make sure we end the game. That's pretty much the only time I ever take it. So super situational, right? These are the main two you're going to be looking at. Rewind and Bolt of the Storm, okay? So Rewind is obviously what made Tyrande like show up in the meta in the first place, right? Double stun, like it's that's 2 second stun, and then double owl. The double owl used to do a shit ton of damage because you'd go the owl build. But even like owl does decent damage even without the owl build. So I mean, double stun is so fucking strong right now. So if you can, if like, here's what I would say, right? There's two times that you would take rewind over bolt. Can you survive without bolt? Whether it be because their team comp cannot kill you, or your team comp can protect you, or you took sprint earlier maybe, and you can take rewind to make up for your lack of bolt because you have sprint or something. I take rewind literally whenever it's possible for me to take rewind. I'm gonna take rewind, and then like if my team, like say that my team is, and then the other reason that you take rewind is because your team's behind and you need the damage, you need the double stun, you need to make plays. That's when I would take rewind and just rely on my positioning to not use bolt. And then bolt. So bolt is just, I mean, it's Bolt of the Storm, right? You can use it defensively, offensively. It's just a really, good. It's a good talent. So this is what you're gonna want to take Bolt of the Storm if they have like blow up comps, whether it be like Tyrael, Uther. It's really good against Stitch's comps. Uther, I said Uther already. Like Uther Sonya. Like anything that can just blow you the fuck up. Like Bolt of the Storm is really good at getting away. Like Jaina, stuff like that. It's really good. So just if you need to get Bolt of the Storm, get it. Like yeah, you don't have rewind, but it's better that you just don't get blown up. Like I've seen games, like top games, where Tyrandos have just gotten trained to death because they don't have bolt, right? So like you don't want that to happen to you. So if you need to have bolt, take it. If you can get by without bolt, take rewind every time because rewind is super OP. And that's pretty much that's about it. Closing statements. I don't really have much else to say. I'm not going to go through the abilities and stuff because this isn't like a tell you how to play Tyrande type of tutorial. It's just a video guide. So I will upload this to YouTube. Be sure to check out my Twitch when I stream, and subscribe to my YouTube, and follow me on Twitter if you want more updates. This is the first of many. I'm going to be doing all the good heroes I'm going to be doing. So what I consider good heroes anyway. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's just go through it one more time. My go-to picks, right? Ranger's Mark, Healing Ward, True Shot, Starfall, Lunar Blaze, Shooting Star, Rewind. That's my go-to most games. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be doing more of these for sure. Thanks for watching.